The community is making sure the memory of a man shot and killed by police is not forgotten. 2 years ago, police shot and killed Rayshard Brooks at a Wendy's at the corner of University Avenue and Pryor Road in southwest Atlanta. And today, that community came together for a vigil. Channel 2's Larry Spruill is live from where the shooting happened. And Larry, they say they're still seeking justice for Brooks.
And Richard, they made that request again at the very spot he was shot and killed. Just take a look right across the street. You can see flowers and posters with his name on it. Now, friends and activists say although it's been 2 years, they will never forget.
We're here to stand in solidarity with the family and still to say his name.
Rayshard Brooks, a name about 60 to 70 people vowed on Sunday they will never forget. It's not only his name they will always remember, but also what happened here at this old Wendy's at the corner of University Avenue and Pryor Road on June 12th, 2020.
As we do remember, Rayshard Brooks was previously killed here by a situation with the Atlanta Police Department.
That situation started after Brooks fell asleep in a car in this Wendy's drive-through parking lot. Atlanta police said when officers Garrett Rolfe and Devin Brosman confronted him, Brooks grabbed Brosman's taser and tried to run away. Police said Rolfe ran after Brooks and shot him after Brooks pointed the taser at Rolfe's head. But family and friends tell Channel 2 that's further from the truth.
Rayshard Brooks was killed with 2 shots to his back. So how is he a threat to law enforcement?
Tammy Featherstone with Georgia Moms United knows all about having a family member killed by police. She tells me her nephew was killed by a police officer. She is begging for change.
We have to have the laws changed. We have to have the DA's office to prosecute these officers for murdering these young black men.
Attorney Gerald Griggs with NAACP says that's the best outcome.
I hope as a special prosecutor will present this to a grand jury. We think the facts are there for an indictment and then ultimately a trial to determine what actually happened.
The community where Brooks was shot and killed continues to heal more than 2 years later. 11 Alive Joe Ripley is live in southeast Atlanta after speaking with residents about how they feel now that the charges are being dropped against those officers. Joe.
In 3 words, disappointed, wronged, and confused. That is how residents I spoke with earlier today felt after hearing the special prosecutor's decision have those charges dropped from the officers involved in Rayshard Brooks' death, and after what they especially call a painful 2 years for their community.
They did not shoot him in the back in order to get him. That was wrong. And they talk about he had that laser. That laser was not going to kill nobody.
Columbus Ward lives in the Peoplestown community of Atlanta, about a mile away from where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed in June 2020. He believes the officers involved were wrong. Special Prosecutor Pete Skandalakis saw it another way. He says Officer Garrett Rolfe was justified in his use of force and is dropping charges against him and Officer Brosnan. I sat down with members of the Peoplestown community, still feeling the emotions of that day over 2 years ago, the day Brooks died, and the week their community changed forever.
And one of my sons was shot. So, can you imagine the thoughts that I had when I heard about what happened to him? Well, that's wrong.
Bertha Darden says the shooting has put the community on guard, and the announcement that the officers would not be charged in the shooting only fosters more distrust between the community and police.
I believe in justice. I believe in having the police department because we need them. We really do. But they need to be trained how to deal with people mentally.
Tiny Prather expects people to protest and pray after the special prosecutor's decision. She just hopes they won't turn to violence.
We have to get out there and do whatever it takes to somebody listen and keep on doing it and try to get folks to not give up.
2 years. 2 years of just going around saying anything, hoping it sticks. 2 years of people thinking it was okay to burn down a Wendy's. 2 years saying that, oh, the outcome is what we wanted because we said so, because this is all rooted in racism and police brutality. 2 years of going and willingly choosing to ignore the fact that there's video evidence that disproves every lie about what y'all promoted on Twitter about how he's an unarmed black man and how he's the obvious victim. 2 years of actual evidence just sitting there waiting for everybody to see, and people just didn't want to go with it because it didn't fit their narrative. My question is very fucking simple. How long are y'all gonna keep this game up? Because it's getting old. We have all these moments in time from the past 3 years of y'all seeing something, having a weird reaction, thinking that if you just scream that reaction, everybody's just gonna believe you. And then the evidence comes out, whether if it's a day, 2 days, a week, a month, 2 years, 20 years, and y'all still want to promote these BS lies. When is it gonna stop? Because it doesn't help you. It doesn't get you anything you want other than just making you look fucking stupid. This dude obviously was in the wrong. I don't know why people want to cry racism other than the fact that it was white cops and a black dude. There was no racist ties to this. There was no racism involved in this. Nobody was called a slur. It was just a white cop and a black dude. That's it. Cut and dry, simple to the point. The cries of everything being something about victim mentality, the cries about everybody sticking together, it's all bull when you actually look at the evidence that is presented to everybody. It's not hidden behind a paywall. It's not something secret. It's out there. It's a quick Google search away, and it disproves every single person crying black power and unjustified killings of black people. Stop it. It's over. It's done with. You didn't get the outcome you wanted. You cried justice. You cried all these things, and it didn't work. Why? Because when it comes to evidence, it does not care about how you feel. It doesn't care about the history you have. It doesn't care about 400 years of being a slave. It doesn't care about every other instance of police encountering black people. It cares about the specific moment in time and what evidence proves and disproves whatever it is y'all talking about. These idiots burned down a Wendy's and seemingly thought that was going to get people to understand that justice had to be served. Y'all ruined people's income. Y'all stopped people from making money during a pandemic, and you thought the justified reason was because, oh my, it's a black person and police brutality and white people bad, and everybody has to understand that we're the victims in life. You fucked people's livelihood up all because you couldn't understand that a situation has to be played out so that they can get the evidence so that you could potentially seek the justice that you want, and it didn't work the way you hoped it would. And that's something I could really laugh at, but it's to the point where I'm genuinely curious and a little bit sad because you idiots keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. You keep falling for the same 30-second clips. You keep spewing hot takes. You keep listening to people who are obviously lying to you so that they can get in front of the camera and get the attention that they want. The game at some point has to stop. Me speaking into this microphone really isn't going to do anything. Yes, I enjoy talking about these topics. Yes, it gets the word out that a situation from years ago is discussed and there's further developments. But like I said in that video from a week ago, it starts with the community. Y'all so fixated on racism that you literally make it out of thin air. You're so fixated on police brutality being the only thing that affects black lives. You willingly ignore the fact that black people take out other black people.
Right now at 6 o'clock, this man is facing murder charges, accused of shooting 2 people 2 months ago. 20-year-old Rayshard Gist made his first court appearance today since police took him into custody.
He's being held in the fatal shooting of 21-year-old Jamarian Barnes and 20-year-old Tynea Powell. They were inside a car next to an ATM at a parking lot in South Point back in June. Barnes' parents spoke with News4Jax reporter Corley Peel. She is joining us near the scene of the crime. Corley?
Well, this parking lot is where you can see flowers have been left to honor Barnes and Powell. And it's also where family members say Gist returned to the scene of the crime for a vigil for the 2 people days after they were murdered. This surveillance video shows a gunman running away after 2 people were shot and killed inside a car. The man accused of pulling the trigger appeared in court on Thursday. 20-year-old Rayshard Gist is charged with second-degree murder.
I've been directed to set your bond at none.
He's accused of killing 21-year-old Jamarian Barnes and 20-year-old Tynea Powell. I spoke with Barnes' parents who want to remain anonymous. Do you know Rayshard Gist?
No, never saw him before in my life.
Investigators say U.S. Marshals arrested Gist on a warrant on Wednesday. Police believe he shot and killed Barnes and Powell in a car in a parking lot near Bowden and Spring Park Road in June. What have these past couple of months been like for you and your family?
It has been awful. Sleepless nights. I have nightmares.
Shortly after the murders, loved ones held a vigil at the scene. A.J. Jordan with Mad Dad says Gist was there standing with Barnes' family and friends.
And how common is that
for someone who is accused of the crime to actually show up to a memorial?
I think it's very common because they want to interject themselves into it. They want to see the pulse of the community, see what information going out, and so they want to be right there in the thick of things.
Did you know that he was there?
No, absolutely not.
How does that make you feel that he was right under your nose?
That's very scary. You know, what if he could have followed any one of us home?
Barnes leaves behind an 11-month-old daughter. What are you going to miss the most about your son?
Everything is hugs.
Just his vibe, his love, you know, everything about my son. He was just a good guy all around the board.
Now that Gist is behind bars, his family is hoping for justice.
It starts in the community. If y'all not gonna do nothing, the cycle is just gonna continue. The wheel is gonna keep spinning. Nothing's gonna change. Nothing will be solved. It's just gonna be a bunch of chaos every single year, every single month, every single day. Y'all can't really sit here and act as if we're all supposed to come together for some random dude who was drunk and decided it was a good idea to point a taser back at some cops. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. It's not my problem. It's not my case. They got millions of other black people missing, killed, and somehow we can only pick a handful of people that matter on TV. I'm sorry. I can't roll like that.
New at 10 tonight, it was an arrest 28 years in the making. Tonight, the family of Rayshard Tucker says they're hopeful that justice will finally be served. He was shot to death at the Oakland City Transit Station in southwest Atlanta way back in 1994. As Fox 5's George Franco reports now, the murder suspect is in jail tonight after his arrest in Oconee County.
It was November 27th, 1994, around 2:30 in the afternoon, when 18-year-old Stafford Tucker was shot in the face after getting off a train here at the Oakland City Transit Station. 28 years later, the suspect is behind bars after a random registration check in Oconee County.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to place you into custody today, okay?
Tuesday afternoon in Oconee County, a man with a suspended South Carolina driver's license, suspended registration, and no insurance is arrested during a random registration check at East Monroe Highway. The man's ID says he is Race Seckham. He says he's headed to a hospital in Athens to visit a sick uncle and is depended on.
I have children, I have a sick uncle, and I run the household.
But investigators say a fingerprint check at the jail identified Seckham as Mohammed Bilal Amin, wanted for the fatal shooting of 18-year-old Rayshard Tucker. Tucker's uncle, who now lives in Portland, Oregon, says he promised his sister, Rayshard's mother, who died a few years ago, that justice would be served.
My family needs justice. They need closure. This is the best closure that my family could have. My sister was here today. She will be soaking in tears.
El Amin, who had a nationwide FBI bulletin on him for years, is now at the Fulton County Jail charged with murder. Oconee County deputies Devin Blair and Lex Ogan, who arrested El Amin, instrumental in helping Rayshard Tucker's family find a path toward justice.
The good Lord looks after all of us, and in the best ways he sees fit. And if the paper's been out there for that long, sooner or later, law enforcement's going to continue to look until we find people.
I know that eventually he would get caught. I put it in my heart that I've forgiven him, but I can't forget.
So in the future, the next time this comes up, because no matter how much people want to get on camera and say we must stop this, no matter how much people want to say, oh, police brutality has to end, abolish the police, reform the police, defund the police, when this happens again, I just want everybody to do one simple thing. Just sit back and wait. This was 2 years in the making. I knew about this for 2 years. I didn't say a word. Why? Because I didn't know the full details. All I had was body cam and dash cam footage of something that happened at Wendy's. I didn't know what started. I didn't know what led up. All I knew was the end. And once that information came out, all it had to be at that point was a jury deciding what they was going to do next. And that way, this whole conversation could either continue or end. and it's over. You didn't get the random justice. You didn't get what you wanted. So it's really up to you at that point. Are you going to continue spewing lies about being unarmed and he didn't turn his back and he wasn't a threat? Or are you actually going to admit, yeah, you got this fucking wrong, and start moving towards something that could actually be a topic, which is black people taking out other black people? If the answer is yes, cool. I'm sure people are willing to work with you. If the answer is no, and you're going to keep randomly popping up every time a black life needs to matter when it's a white person or a cop, welcome to understanding that every black life does not matter. Only the convenient ones do. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye. Fuck Black Lives Matter.